So, all right, for me, the fastest way to get out of my ego is to be like, okay, we are these organisms that, were created or developed, however you view it, on this random rock that is hurtling through space, at however many millions miles an hour. And so that's like kind of how I can, zoom out and just like release whatever is built up. But one thing that I was noticing a few years ago when I was, talking to my therapist about like ego, and I was really exploring like how much of a hold that had on me, and like how many things like kind of went back to that, like getting offended, like somebody had mentioned, but also like little senses of entitlement that we think about, like traffic. Like it is so commonly accepted for people to get really pissed off if they run into traffic, even though it's like rush hour and everybody knows. And so I just wanted to know, like, do you guys have any ideas of like little things that are actually like causing a big reaction out of people that are so commonly accepted, that are big, that like they're just wasting energy and emotions, and it's just like ego. It's like, I don't deserve this, or like I don't need to be here, or something like that. But it's like, why not? I mean, everybody else is like, we're all just in this. If we released that and we were able to like flow better with the punches or whatever, then we would just have so much more freedom, so much more time and space to like think of things we actually want to do. Yingli. No, Li Ying. Sorry.
Perfect. It's perfect. I think when you spoke about that, what came up for me was, and it is also based on one of the experiences I had with a client. And I remember her saying that, I don't deserve to feel at peace. I don't deserve to feel zen. I don't deserve, I can have more because of the state of the world, like what's going on with the world. And it is such a deep conditioning where people start to feel like, oh, I shouldn't have more. I shouldn't show up like this, or I shouldn't show off that, or anything related to money, especially as well. The ego and the money, that's another topic. And I think that's where I think women, especially, I think coming back to, I think Elizabeth, that said something about the wound that, the feminine wound that we have deeply held for me many lifetimes, I would say, that we have to really alchemize and transmute, because I think that sense of guilt that we carry is the reason why we're not showing up fully. And I think people tend to really, or in my opinion, tend to really mistake that as an ego thing, right? But we are meant to be abundant. We're meant to have all that we desire, because if we don't see, I like to think that if we desire something, it is really something for us. It is meant to be for us, and yeah, that's my take on it. I'll pass the crystal ball to someone else who wants to speak.
I love it. And I feel like whole books and seminars could be written on ego and should or shouldn't, and how those are connected. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, again, maybe childhood and peers or siblings of, if one person shines, you're, putting out the light in someone else. And it goes to the Marianne Williamson's quote of our deepest fear is that we are really meant to shine and to be the greatest we can be. But we put our light to help other people feel comfortable, and that serves no one. So it's really about standing in your power, and you light your flame, and then you light others, and everyone can shine.
I love that. That's so good. Yes. Ileana.
I know there are certain women who feel guilty if they have more than others, if they have bigger talents, if they have more money, they have more accomplishments, because as somebody said before, the world is in such a bad state and other people are suffering. And how can I be enjoying my life when other people are in dire straits? They're homeless, they're in war, and like that kind of thinking doesn't add to the positive energy in the world whatsoever. It's actually the other way around. We should be celebrating these things and, of course, helping others as much as we can. But there is nothing wrong with abundance and having a wonderful life. You're not taking away from anybody. The only way you're taking away is if you feel badly about it and you send out those really bad negative vibes into the world, because it's definitely not helping anyone. So I would encourage everyone to just celebrate life and enjoy it as much as possible, because it's pretty short, the one we have right now. Thank you.
I love that.
Tori, can you read the comment real fast as we wrap up?
Sure. And then I think Tessa had something. This panel was amazing. Sabrina, thank you for doing this subject. I needed this so bad and didn't even know it. Thank you, lady. Thanks to you ladies for sharing so openly. I love that I always cry and laugh during these. I feel so close to you all right now. Big hug. And then Tessa,
sorry. I just very briefly want to add, because I think it was so important what Elena just said, but also to say to anyone in the audience, if there's ever a time where you don't feel positive or where you do stay guilty, it's okay, right? Don't feel, because I had this once, that when these kind of things, that I then started feeling guilty about not putting positive energy in the world because I somehow didn't manage. So if there is, for whatever reason, that you can't get there, that you don't feel positive, that you are stuck in that guilty feeling, then just try whichever way you can, either within or to friends or families or in any other way. What do you need to get there? And see if you can get that for yourself, but don't feel guilty for if you can't in this moment of time.
Just be authentic, whether you have it or not, right?
And that's the part where it does come back to, we're organisms on this rock hurtling through space. Like we're meant to feel all the emotions. And so it's like, if you think of that, like, oh, this is the part where I feel a little bit guilty, like if you just feel it. And we had somebody on here, it was a while ago, I think it was on one of your like all day ones, Sabrina. And she was talking about the difference between embracing and acceptance. And it's like, if you embrace that, then it fills it with love. And so even though you're feeling guilty, you're like hugging that guilt and filling it with love. And that's like the best way to do things. I think about that all the time.
Girl, that just totally warms my heart. That's us here talking. Oh. Well, thank you so much, ladies.